Hey, what's up, Hellfire Fighters? Today we're gonna make a sprite drawing tutorial. So here we go. Start with a blank piece of paper, and you're just gonna want to divide it into 4 quadrants, and you want to keep these 4 sprites sort of the same scale, same size. I usually start with the head, and I'll try to divide it horizontally, vertically. It's just a guideline. It doesn't have to be perfect. All of these get painted over at the end, so it's really just guidelines to help you see where you want your sprite to land. So I'm going to start by filling in the shoulders. Tell me if you can see this okay. I know it's a little blurry. But we'll draw Dice's shoulders and his coat. And we want the coat to have a little bit of take, so it's going to be wider at the bottom on some frames and more close together to his body on other frames. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just getting the shapes down, noting the differences. See here, we'll do his shoes, and we'll help sort of shape in his pants. And those can also have take. And we'll check to compare the sizes of them, and we'll probably choose a best body shape that becomes the majority of the final sprite. But we'll draw some hand animations, opening and closing his fist. And again, none of this has to be pixel perfect. This is just to get the shape down, help us stay focused during the next step, the painting process. It's just filling out the shapes of the hands and making sure that makes sense. We'll draw his other arm that holds the sword. Just a little bit of a curve to the blade. Then he swings. That one was very curvy. But they don't have to be the same in every frame. We're just going to make him look like he's got some movement to it. And it really is just a sketch for the structure to help when you're moving pixels that are very small. Sometimes it's hard to tell where to put them. And having a guide for you to follow that you've made for yourself makes it easier. So we'll draw in his eyes, get the lapel on his jacket. And sometimes I overdraw. I'll put too many spikes on the sleeves, or too long of a jacket, and that's okay, because we're going to cut that up later. Like I said, it's just guidelines for you to digitally paint. That doesn't mean he has to be off model, though. I think that the more character you can put into your pencil drawings, the more you'll see that natural flow, that natural movement in your sprite work. And he always has a little X stitch on the side of his jacket, because he has to repair his own clothes. And his boots. He's got big, stompy, steel-toed boots. And of course his pants and he wears a scarf in every frame. It's very easy to leave out accessories, leave out extra details when you're drawing frames of animation that you don't want to forget anything. Same thing, we're going to try to give his hair a little bit of take with the wind. It's going to blow away and reveal his scarred demon eye. And the scar always comes over his nose a little bit. And we'll draw it down here. And again, I probably won't use every inch of every picture that I draw. I'm gonna combine them in the next phase. I'm gonna overlay them over each other, and I'm gonna pick and choose which parts of the frame are used. I'm gonna draw his claw. We want his claw to open and close, like he's tightening it. You know, he is a cartoon, so sometimes he has a little bit of a stretch to his limbs, that they're not always perfectly rigid. It lets his monster features show through. And you have to detail the stars and moons on his scarf. And I almost always forget to draw his scarf in every frame, so I have to go back and draw more of it. It's just a relaxing process. Doesn't have to be that hard. Doesn't have to be that detailed. You don't have to sell your soul. Just have a little bit of courage about it. There, that one's almost done. Get the little details on there. You don't want to forget them later. But this is basically what you do. And like I said, I'll probably pick bits and pieces from each one. Fill in parts of his hand. Just outline things a little bit harder now that I know where they go. And really, the whole process isn't gotta be too scientific to get the point across, to get the motion, to get the animation, to get the end tool. You don't have to break your brain. Quantity over quality. more of them is better than one really perfectly made one. It's better to have 100 of them that work together. Look at that claw. Very menacing. And, you know, finishing up the last details on the last frame. Once you notice that I do draw them 4 at a time, but I don't necessarily draw them 1, 2, 3, 4. I compare them and I draw them as one drawing where each piece is supposed to work together. Anyway, that's how you do it. In the next phase, we'll be scanning them and placing them into Photoshop and tightening up the drawing process and making things the same distance and the same length and the same scale. So, you know, make sure to catch me on the next video.